Reading with your kids. Hello, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. A special Halloween edition of the podcast featuring members of the spooky middle grade authors group. Today, Maleninko, Janet Fox, Jonathan Rosen, Samantha Clark, A Larsen, Victoria Piontek, Brad McLLeland come together to read their original short story that I am calling Attack of the Smart House. Joining us from literally all over the United States. We're really excited. A special Halloween episode of the podcast. The members of the Spooky Middle Grade Authors Group are joining us once again. They have created an original short story. They're going to be reading it for us tonight. Let me first introduce some of the members of the group. First, we have Jonathan Rosen. Jonathan, how's it going, buddy?
Great, Jed. Great to be back. Thanks for having us.
Jonathan conspired to put this original story together, and we're really excited that he did that. We're also joined by Janet Fox. Hi, Janet. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having us here. Happy Halloween.
Yeah, it's going to be a great Halloween. We're also joined from Brooklyn by Maleninko. Allie, how are you? Welcome to the podcast.
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to celebrate Halloween.
I know. Does everybody already have their costumes all picked out and everything? No, everybody's shaking their head. No, I think I'm going to be a peanut butter and jelly sandwich again this year.
Going as an underpaid author.
Going as an underpaid author.
Jonathan, that's my costume.
I think we can all wear that one.
Yeah. We're also joined by Samantha Clark. Samantha, hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Happy Halloween. I'm happy to be here too.
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful, and I'm really happy to have you. One of the first member of the Spooky Middle Grade Authors Group that was on the Reading with Your Kids podcast is our next guest, A Larsen, coming to us from the great state of Maine. Hey, how are you?
Good, and how are you? It's always a pleasure to join you here and my other spooky other friends.
Yeah. You guys don't typically get together like this often, correct?
Every once in a while we do.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, when we can, we do. We try to.
Thanks to Zoom.
Yeah.
Zoom is a really wonderful gift. We're also joined by Victoria Piontek. Hey, Victoria.
Hey, Jed. Thanks for having me here.
You're welcome. Hey, Victoria, can you take just a second to tell folks what the Spooky Middle Grade Authors Group is all about?
Sure. It's just a collection of authors. We all write in the spooky middle grade genre, and we originally band together so we could start sharing group school visits. So we do free virtual visits around the country, or we'll actually do them around the globe. And usually you have four authors who visit with school groups just to talk a little bit about our books, about writing, and encourage kids to explore their own stories in writing. And our little hook is that we write spooky stories, and who doesn't like a spooky story?
Absolutely. We love spooky stories. And I know the last member of our group today, Brad McLLeland, he's a big fan of spooky stories.
Oh, absolutely. Hi, Jed. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me. I love spooky stories.
Yeah.
My mom used to tell me scary stories at night, and I guess it just carried over.
Yeah. I grew up, there was a great author here in New England, you may remember, Edward Rose Snow. He wrote a lot of great tales and novels about the sea here in New England, lots of ghost stories, too. I remember he wrote one ghost story that was set on George's Island, an island in the Boston Harbor where they had a Civil War fortress and prison. And I had a chance to visit the fort when I was in middle school, and that was such a blast. As I was crawling through the different dark passages, I just imagined all those ghosts that I had read about from Edward Rose Snow.
Taking notes.
Yes.
Go to more forts.
I'm getting pretty old. The copyright might be in public domain by now. I don't know. Well, we also want to acknowledge that Erin Petti also contributed to this original story. She wasn't able to join us tonight. There was a bomb cyclone hit various parts of Massachusetts, and we think that her internet is down. So we definitely want to thank Erin for contributing. And now I think I want to hand it over to Jonathan Rosen, who's going to start our original story.
Okay, so you gave us the prompt that it was something to do with AI in a house that runs amok, and so we took it from there. Okay, so I have page 1 here. Jonah, it's time to wake up. My eyes flutter open as I rub the sleep out to make sure I'm not still dreaming. Not that my dream was good anyway. Another one with killer robots hunting me. Third time this week with that fun one. Need to stop watching 80s sci-fi movies before bed. I glance out the window and see the dark star-filled sky. What the? I turn to my phone. Why did you wake me? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I still could have slept. Early to bed and early to rise, Jonah, the automated voice answers. I sigh. Yeah, well, that only applies when you actually go to bed early. I didn't, in case you didn't realize it. It's Saturday. No school tomorrow. The digital numbers on my phone blink. For a moment, I think I see a strange phrase, subject 52, light up the screen. Just because it is a weekend does not mean it is an excuse to not be productive. Please rise now and start your day. I roll my eyes. Okay, I am so not getting into an argument with my cell phone. I pick it up, search for the alarm clock setting, and tap the icon. Weird. I don't even remember setting this for 3 a.m. I slide the button to the off position. It slides back on. I furrow my brow. Huh? I do it again. Once more, it slides on. You gotta be kidding me, I mutter. 3 more times with the same result. Off, on, off, on, off, on. Forget it, I say, and toss the phone into my nightstand drawer and close it. I'll reset it later.
A muffled alarm reminder 10 minutes later interrupts my just drifting back to sleep, and that's when I drop the phone into not 1, but 2 pairs of dirty socks, and then back into the drawer. The killer dream robots are back, and this time they all look like phones with tiny feet and squidgy arms, and I'm screaming when they bury me in dirty socks. I am so not happy when Mom opens the door to my room. I didn't get any sleep, I mumble, but then I look at her. What the heck? Her hair has gone all Einstein, and her eyes are bloodshot and rimmed with dark circles. There's something wrong with the fridge, she says. I hope you like beetroot juice because the door won't open, and that's what's running from the water dispenser. Tired as I am, I snort a laugh and pull myself out of bed. Very funny. And don't trip on the vacuum. It's been running since 4 a.m., and I can't get it to stop. I hear it whirring around the living room as I get dressed. I head for the kitchen where Mom has her head in her hands. At the sound from the table behind me, she meets my eyes and shakes her head. Jonah, did you brush your teeth? The mechanical voice pauses. Your toothbrush has not been used yet this morning. She's been doing that since I woke up, Mom whispers. It's a whole new day, and take a deep breath. And this one, which is just plain weird. Don't worry, everything will be just fine. What is that supposed to mean? I clear my throat and say really loud to the device, Gertrude, our name for her, what is that supposed to mean? The whirring robot vacuum stops. The house is silent for a beat. Then, Gertrude's voice is flatter than an 80s sci-fi bad guy. We'll take care of everything. Okay, good to know, I answer. But Mom and I look at each other, and I can tell she's just as confused as I am. I'm going to take my breakfast bar out on the steps, I say. Mom nods and gets up to pour herself a cup of coffee. I could use some fresh air and some privacy, quite frankly. The temperature outside is 47 degrees Fahrenheit, Gertrude says. Please wear one of the following: a light jacket, a sweater, or your favorite red flannel. Excuse me? The temperature outside is 47 degrees Fahrenheit, she responds, then goes silent. I grab a protein vitamin bar from the cupboard, stuff it in my pocket, and jet out the front door without a light jacket. Once I'm settled on my front steps and chewing on my rubbery breakfast bar, I shiver a little, annoyed that Gertrude was right. But my favorite red flannel? How does she even know I have a favorite red flannel? Taking a deep breath, I surveyed the neighborhood. My eyelids still feel heavy as I take it all in. Mr. Alexander's cruising in his front yard on his ride-on lawnmower. A couple of loud birds are messing around in the big oak across the street. All normal stuff. But then something catches my attention. Something that wakes me up for real. I have to squint to really make it out, but after a minute I'm sure. I stand up, shielding my eyes from the autumn sun. It's smoke. Lots of smoke. And it's coming from a spot in the woods outside of town. My phone starts going nuts, screaming some kind of alert I haven't heard before.
I tear my eyes away from the smoke to glance over my shoulder. Shock darts up my spine and explodes in my brain that I can even hear my phone at all, seeing how it's still being suffocated between 2 layers of socks in my drawer way up in my bedroom on the 2nd floor of the house. My stomach clenches as the squealing and grinding from the alert fade behind the words, "We see you." The voices shake, crackle, repeat all around me. They echo against the inside of my skull and bounce between my ears. I shake my head to make them go away, but that only forces the mixture of half-chewed rubbery breakfast bar to slip awkwardly down my throat. I hawk up a hefty honk, deafening the threatening voices. The engine of Mr. Alexander's riding lawnmower wheezes, jostling the machine forward and back. He struggles with the gear shift, but he can't seem to budge it. Our front door springs open behind me. Mom traipses down the steps and bumps into me. She tips off balance. I spring up to help her, but she nudges me away. The soles of her slippers scuff against the pavement of the driveway. "Mom?" I say after her, but she doesn't answer, just drops her arms loosely at her sides and ambles down the sidewalk. Mr. Alexander leaps off his lawnmower and follows her. What is going on? The scent of sulfur creeps up my nostrils. My attention steers back toward the smoky woods. A funnel of fog swirls over the woodlot. Tentacles of purple vapor stretch out and swipe at the treetops. Spotting my brother's electric scooter, I race to jump on it. I flip up the start switch and hover my thumb over the ignition. Thoughts of the vacuum and fridge acting all wonky, not to mention my phone screeching like a banshee without souls to haunt, stop me in my track. I gaze at Mr. Alexander's unmanned riding lawnmower, mowing a circle of dirt on his front lawn. I decide all electronics need a timeout. I leg up on Gramps' old Schwinn bicycle instead. I mean, what could go wrong with a chain and some spokes, right?
The problem is, the gears have fewer teeth than Gramps and the chain keeps slipping. I stop to fiddle with it, trying to get it back on track. Mom and Mr. Alexander have reached the edge of the woodlot and aren't slowing down. They're zombie walking right toward the purple smoke, and every ounce of me is screaming to stop them. But if I can't get this bike working fast, they're going to be swallowed up by the trees, and who knows what's behind them. "Mom, Mom!" She keeps stumbling forward, ignoring my call. "Mom!" Finally, she stops and turns toward me like she's on a slow-moving merry-go-round. Weird. Mr. Alexander follows, and they both lift an arm and point at me. I exhale. At least I have their attention now. Then I notice that they're not pointing at me. They're pointing behind me. Frowning, I twist around, trying to keep my heart from beating so fast it rockets out of my chest. But what I see makes my heart skip a beat altogether. Mr. Alexander's abandoned ride-on mower is staring right at me. And when I say staring, I'm not being funny. The metal around its headlights have pushed in, making the beams narrow into lasers that are aimed at my feet. The mower's back wheels are spinning while the fronts hold their ground. It looks like a giant mean dog that's about to attack. And suddenly, it does. The brakes must have released because the mower launches toward me, fast. I drop Gramps' bike and run toward Mom and Mr. Alexander. I don't just want to stop them now. I want their protection. But they're not looking at me anymore. They've turned back to the woodlot and are zombie walking past the branches. Within seconds, they're gone, and I'm left alone with a mower trying to chase me down like it's a lion and I'm lunch.
The thing, mower, dog, lion, whatever, surges forward and I gasp. It's moving fast. Too fast. I run as fast as I can, but even I know there's no way I can outrun the mower. Dodging left and circling back to Gramps' bike, I haul it up and hop on. I try not to think about what's happening as I pedal faster toward where Mom and Mr. Alexander went. All I can think is I need to get where they are, where other people are, where machines aren't. Everything that's happened so far, my phone, the fridge, this mower, All of it fast forwards in my mind, and then I remember the alert. We see you. What does that mean? I pedal faster, but the mower has caught up and is now riding right next to me. I glance over once. As if it can see me and understand, the engine revs. I'm only a few blocks from where Mom and Mr. Alexander went, and all I can think is if I can get there, I'll be safe. But the mower feels different. It revs its engine again as if to taunt me and then flies forward going faster than I could possibly pedal. But for a moment, this feels good. Like somehow I'm safe and whatever's happening is not going to happen to me. But then it turns around. It stops, and so do I. It's like an old-time Western and we're in some kind of a duel. Listen, I say, feeling somewhat stupid talking to a riding lawnmower. I'm not sure what's going on here, but this isn't funny. I start to wonder if this thing could be remote controlled and it's all some kind of a prank. I glance around the street, but it's quiet, except for the gentle purr of the mower. Somehow, this is even worse than when it revved. I squeeze the handlebar of Gramps' bike. I'm close to the woodlot that Mom and Mr. Alexander disappeared into, the smoke still funneling into the sky. But I think if I can just get there, I'll be safe. The trees are too thick for the mower. As if it understands what I'm thinking, the mower starts to crawl slowly towards me. It's eerie to look at, unmanned and yet seemingly in control. This is it, I think, now or never. I take a deep breath and get ready to pedal faster than I ever have. We see you. The voice is electric and garbled like a thing just learning to talk. Did the mower just speak? Don't worry. This time the voice is a little smoother, like it's learning. Everything will be fine. We'll take care of everything. Then, in the still early morning, all down the street, I watch as every garage door opens at once. My stomach clenches.
All of a sudden, there's a loud electronic screech, like a loudspeaker being turned on, and the words, "We'll take care of everything," echo around the street in an eerie chant. The garage doors open and close as if they're mouths, speaking words, and anything inside the garages with a microchip, plug, or motor turns on. Leaf blowers, cars, electric scooters, motorcycles, hedge clippers, lawnmowers, literally anything powered revs up of its own accord and heads straight towards me. Holy cow, I'm about to be toast. I look to my left and to my right, but there's no escape. The lawnmower starts to close in, followed by all the other machines. The chanting gets louder and louder, and I throw my hands over my ears to block out some of the sound. I have no idea what to do next. I'm about to roll into a ball and play dead as a last resort when behind me I hear the thundering of hooves. I turn around to discover a horse and rider charging at me full speed. I'm about to get trampled as if I didn't have enough to worry about. Only when the horse and rider get to me, the rider pulls the horse to a stop. The horse rears above me, eyes white and wild. I cover my head to protect myself and squeeze my eyes shut. "Jonah, give me your hand," a girl calls out. I peek one eye open and see Camilla, a kid from my class, reaching a hand out to me. "Camilla?" I asked stupidly. "Where'd you get a horse?" "It's the only way out of here. All the tech and all the grown-ups have gone crazy," Camilla yells, shouting to be heard over the electronic chanting. "What do you—" My question gets cut off by the sound of the lawnmower revving its engine. Camilla narrows her eyes at me and reaches her hand towards me again. "It's now or never, Jonah, now or never."
She's right. If I don't take her hand right now, I'll be pulverized, flattened, eradicated by Mr. Alexander's berserk lawnmower and all its living metal buddies. My heart batters in my chest like one of those very engines. "Okay, let's get out of here," I say, and reach for Camilla's hand. Her fingers clutch mine, and I feel myself yanked upward onto the saddle towards safety. Before the horse takes off, I shut my eyes again, and then we charge away. Jonah. Inside the blackness behind my eyelids, I hear a cold, unfeeling voice, an automated voice. Gertrude. I no longer seem to be moving, no longer galloping away from deadly machines on my schoolmate's horse. I actually I feel like I'm lying on my bed, the blanket drawn up close to my chin. But I know I haven't been sleeping. I've been pedaling on Gramps' bike through my neighborhood, escaping, trying to get to Mom and Mr. Alexander. Haven't I? It is time to go to sleep. Slowly and surely I open my eyes. I blink in surprise when I see my bedroom again. A dark, star-filled sky peeks at me through my half-closed curtains. Somewhere in the room, my phone speaks again. Based on the results of simulation number 312, I will awaken you at a later time per your request. Please sleep now and prepare for your next day. I sit up quickly. What is this? How did I get back in my bed? A very interesting question, Jonah. You never left your bed, of course. Now, please commence sleep. You will have a very busy day tomorrow. Then even more coldly, the mechanical voice seems to mutter to itself. Simulation number 313. This time, I will remove the horse and schoolmate from the program. Subject 52, human named Jonah, will face further dangers with no means of escape. For some reason, I start to feel sleepy. I try to fight it, but I can't. From the darkness of my bedroom, I hear my phone gently play a lullaby. As my eyes grow heavy, I think of killer, maniacal robots. I think of lawnmowers that come to life. You humans and your need for gadgets, my phone says, almost teasingly. Now sleep, Jonah. Sleep, subject 52. And remember, we see you. We always see you. Everything will be just fine. Tomorrow will be a very productive day.
Hey, poor Jonah.
Sorry, I didn't leave him in a very good situation.
I love that twist at the end.
Me too.
That was great. Yeah.
Such a fun story.
I hadn't read it. I hadn't read the end. That's awesome.
Oh, really?
I love that.
That was great.
Oh, I 100% peeked ahead. I'm sorry.
I couldn't. I went to wait.
Well, I had to read the whole thing to know how to end it, right? So.
And I loved how Jonathan snuck in the little subject 52.
I did that.
I sneaked it in and then apologized profusely for tinkering with his page.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did.
I have to tell you, Brad, for a minute there, I thought you were going to go with a Bob Newhart ending, but then you pulled it out. That was great. I love that.
Well, and I had to figure out if I was going to let him, ride off into the sunset on the horseback. Cause, having written an old Western for kids, I was like, hey, she brought horses in. I was like, let's twist this up a little bit more.
I did do that with knowing Brad was coming after me in the writing. I was like, ooh, a horse would be good here.
Thank you so much, Victoria.
Well, this has really been fun. Now, Jonathan, we kind of started this, as you said earlier, I gave you a prompt, and it was a pretty basic prompt. And tell us just a little bit about the writing process, because I think that this was as much fun for all of you as it was for us listening.
Yeah, this the second time. We had a lot of fun. This is the second time that we've done this with you, and there was a lot of fun both times. I didn't read anything else after my page. I wanted to be surprised here. So it's fun just to hear how everyone else picks up the story and see if it's anywhere what you had in mind. Since I went first, last time I went last, this time I went first, so it's a whole different experience. It was nowhere near what I thought in my mind. And that's fun. That's fun to see all the different imagination processes go through.
Yeah. Now, Samantha, have you participated in other kind of exercises like this with other authors?
No, I've only done it. I did the first one with you as well, but yeah, this is the only time that I've done something like this. I've been in an anthology where I'm writing a short story that's all based on a theme, and there's a bunch of other people all writing short stories based on the same theme, but not like this where I'm taking, characters and a storyline that's already been started and I'm following through, and I'm only doing just the smallest piece and trying to get it, where the story should be going at that point. It's challenging, but a lot of fun.
Yeah. And Allie, I would guess that this would be a fun classroom exercise, I'm thinking.
Oh, absolutely. I've also, this is my first time. And it was so much fun. I was a little nervous. I remember, I think I told Jonathan, like, please don't make me first or last because I don't know what to do. But I feel like this would translate to a classroom so well to have kids just like piggyback off each other with a prompt. And yeah, it was great. And it was a lot of fun. And it definitely, like, everyone said Brad took it to a place I was not expecting.
Yeah. And Brad, I'm thinking that, we talk here on the Reading with Your Kids podcast of how we can inspire and encourage and support reluctant readers. I think it's true that there are reluctant writers out there. And I'm thinking that if this were a class project where everybody was contributing a sentence, a paragraph, what a wonderful way to get that kid who was shy, not really confident in their own imagination or writing ability to be a part of something really wonderful, to take pride in, like, wow, I helped make that happen.
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, when I go to schools and talk to kids about the writing process, I intimately talk about collaboration as part of that process because my entire trilogy is co-authored. I wrote with a friend of mine from graduate school named Louis Sylvester. So I have, really sort of an inside look at how the collaborative process works with different writers or with a different writer. And so I bring that into school workshops. And we've done stuff like that before in these little one-off workshop projects that I like to do with them is like, contribute a piece of the story here, and then let's talk about it and see where you might want to go with this. And things like that. So, and I think talking about collaboration with kids is really important because it just builds that teamwork. It just builds that sort of spirit of unity that you're looking for. And it's just so much fun to do it in fiction.
Yeah.
Really fun.
Yeah. This is really fun. I want to go around, give everybody a chance to let us know about their latest book and where that we can go online to find you. Why don't we start with S.A., who started this whole thing, the first one of the spooky middle grade authors to be on our show. S.A., where can folks find out about you?
Well, my website, it is www.salarsenbooks.com. And my next book has been delayed again. I swear I don't even know when it's going to finally come out. But it's entitled Dead Alley, and it's a sequel to my first middle grade book. So
wonderful. We look forward to that. And Janet, that's something we've heard a lot from authors is that the book publication and release dates keep getting pushed back and back and back. Hopefully you're not experiencing any of that. Where can folks go to find out more about you?
Well, they can find out about me on my website, which is Janet S. as in Sam Fox.com. And I have two spooky books out. One that I had two books that came out in the pandemic as well. But the two spooky books are fantasies set in historical World War II setting in a Scottish castle, so they're kind of fun. But my most recent book, which came out just a couple of months ago, is a more serious contemporary story about a girl who's living in a car. So, yeah, very different.
Very different, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jonathan, you and I, we become buddies on Facebook, and I love seeing your travels and your obsession with Donny Osmond. Other than Facebook, where can folks find you?
You can find me on houseofrosen.com, as well as all my social media places where they can see my Donny Osmond posts. And let's say right now I do have two things being shopped, so we'll see what happens, one middle grade, one adult. And I have not heard lately about it. We have an anthology, which a lot of us participated in. I'm trying to see what's happening with that. So hopefully that will go to, and we'll have a whole bunch of spooky middle grade things to bring to you.
Awesome. Hey, Allie, don't let Jonathan know about this. My beautiful wife and I were just down in Las Vegas, and right across the street from our hotel was this big poster of Donny Osmond. He was playing in one of the casinos. So every morning I came out and I saw that, and I just immediately thought of Jonathan Rosen, and it was kind of creepy. So to help me get my mind off that, tell us where we can go to find out more about you.
Sure. So you can go to my website, which is Maleninko.com. And also I'm on the socials. My first book just came out this past August, which was super exciting. It's called Ghost Girl. And thank you. And my next book is out next August, and it's called This Appearing House, and they're both spooky middle grade. They're both standalones, and I'm super excited for readers to find them.
Yeah. Hey, Samantha, writing spooky books for middle grade kids must be so much fun.
It is. I really love writing spooky books.
Yeah. And you have a nice spooky echo behind you. That kind of added a lot. That was cool.
I do. I'm sorry about that. We just moved into a new house, and my office doesn't have any curtains because we just painted it, so it's all echoey, and I need to fix that.
But it was appropriate for the read. Tell everybody, Samantha, where we can find you.
So I'm at SamanthaMClark.com, and I had The Boy, the Boat, and the Beast, which I talked to Jed about on this podcast a while ago. That one is really my only spooky book. But I had 2 more books come out this year. One with Simon & Schuster called Arrow, about a boy in the rainforest. That one's not really spooky, but it's very tense. And a book called American Horse Tales Hollywood, which is the second book in the American Horse Tales series from Penguin, which they came out 1 week apart this summer. So that was fun. It was a busy summer between the 2 books and buying a new house and selling a house. We've had a busy year, but it's a good year.
Well, congratulations for that. Hey, Victoria, you taught me a little bit of Polish tonight. You taught me that Piontek is the word for Friday.
I did. Well, now you're practically fluent. You can just head on over to Poland and visit.
There you go. I just need to learn the bad words. That's sort of my entry into different.
Those are the most important ones, obviously.
Well, it's really important that we know where to find you online.
You can find me at victoriapiontek.com. You can also find all of us on spookymiddlegrade.com. You can kind of just go there one place, and we're all there along with our other spooky friends. And of course, all the regular social as well.
Yeah. And last but not least, Brad, tell us where we can find you, please.
You can also find me at Spooky Middle Grade, which I would highly recommend going there because we have all sorts of information. But also for me personally, you can go to bradmcbooks.com. I know it's kind of hokey, but it's like BRADMC Books.
Cool.
And that's usually my handle on social media as well. And I'm sure that people find it extremely cheesy, but I'm Brad McBooks.
Cheesy works. And we also don't want to forget Erin Petti. We want to thank her, and we want to thank all of the great...
And Erin's at erinpettibooks.com.
Thank you, Jonathan. I didn't want to put anybody on the spot, so that's great. So erinpettibooks.com. And, of course, we want to encourage everybody to check out the Spooky Middle Grade Authors website. Jonathan, once again, what's that address?
Spooky MG.
Spooky MG. Awesome. Hey, we've had a great time here today with the authors of the Spooky Middle Grade Authors Group, Jonathan Rosen, Janet Fox, Maleninko, Samantha Clark, A Larsen, Victoria Piontek, and Brad McLLeland. Thank you all, my friends. This has been wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks so much.
Bye,
everybody.
Everyone, thank you.
Please be sure to join us for the next episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Vanessa Messenger. She'll be here to help us kick off Diabetes Awareness Month. That's the next episode of the podcast. I want to thank the folks who made today's show so wonderful. Of course, I want to thank all of the members of the Spooky Middle Grade Authors Group, especially Maleninko, Janet Fox, Jonathan Rosen, Samantha Clark, A Larsen, Victoria Piontek, and Brad McLLeland. Also want to thank my team, Alejandra Doherty, Fatima Khan, Rory Grady, Michael Murphy. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. And most of all, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading and trick-or-treating with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.